Hey everybody, it's Denise again, talking about how to cut hair in the time of the plague. I bet some of you have men in your life, whether they're little people or big people, who need a haircut. Their hair's starting to grow out this direction, getting fluffy, and this stuff on top is getting long and falling down. I'm going to help you learn how to cut and clipper your man's hair. I've made a couple of drawings for you, and I want to explain some things first. Hair generally in the back grows straight down. So one of the principles of clippering hair is to clipper it in the opposite direction than the way that it goes. Sometimes this hair over here on the edges will start to grow this direction, and you're going to want to clip that way. And these things down here, you're going to want to clipper all sorts of directions because this hair starts to kind of go in different directions down here. So start that way, but make sure you kind of cross hatch this section down here. Everybody has a little whirligig. This is where the hair whirl starts, this direction. That's how we generally learned how and what side to part our hair on, because the hair naturally fell this direction. So this guy's whirligig is over here, and this hair generally is going to fall this direction. Here's his part, and this hair usually gets long enough to kind of fall this way. But this guy's whirligig is here, and this hair is all going that direction. When you cut hair, you're going to separate it out best you can in the middle of that whirligig. So when I teach you how to split the hair up and pull this forward, you're going to try to do that in the middle of the whirligig. About here is the line where you might separate it out if you're going to do a fade. You can start out with a number 3 guard on your clipper and work down here in a 2, or you might do this a 1 and this a 2. It all depends on how short he normally wears his hair. You might want to start with a 3 and say to him, hey babe, a 3 is what you're going to get, or a 2. You might not want to try a fade. If you know what that is, you would just do all of a 3 here and then do a 2 down here. Now I'm going to teach you a little technique about flicking your wrist with hair, but I want to show you that this is generally the principles with clippering your hair. You also clipper hair dry, you never clipper wet hair. You're going to cut this part up here with shears with wet hair, but down here you're going to use it all on dry hair. Now, this guy has now become this. Look at all this love I've put into my drawings here, okay? One thing I want to show you is that when you're finishing off your haircut, you're going to end up going and picking a place in the back and just kind of go zzz, right there in the middle. Your clipper has a lever on the side, and it moves this further away from the cutting edge or closer from the cutting edge. So you're going to make this as close as you can and cut like this and just pull straight down and go all the way straight down, and then hold it diagonally and work all the way up to behind the ear. You can then take it this direction and clean up like this around the ear in that direction, and that's how you're going to clean up. So that's just kind of a visual. You just kind of go, I think it's going to go about that way, okay? So what you're going to do is try to find where this spot is here, where the hair is going to separate and out to that longer spot, whether it's 1.5 inches long or whether it's 3 or 4 inches long. You're going to find this plane that's flat by holding the comb, even visually or physically, against your head. Then you're going to find this plane, this flat plane, and you're going to find this space that's usually right around here where the head bends, that you're going to separate the hair that's going to be clippered down here and cut up here. Here this guy's hair has been clippered this direction, it's been cleaned up, and now we're going to separate out all the way around. So, I don't show anybody my forehead. We call this Penny's hair. My mom always hated walking into Penny's at Stone Ridge Mall because the wind was in this whirl and it would blow back our hair. And so we don't show anybody Penny's hair, but because I love you and because this is love in the time of cholera, I am going to teach you how to do this on my own head because my hair is so different than a man's haircut. Not really. Okay, so what we're going to do, I've got my imaginary plane right here, and I've got this imaginary plane here. And kind of where those two cross, I'm going to try to find a place right there, and that's where I'm going to split the hair. Some of you may be able to find that on your guy's hair on your own, because you're going to be able to lift this long stuff up and go, oh, yeah, that's where it was. And you're going to clip this stuff up this direction and get this out of the way. Okay, so this is the hair that you're going to end up clippering, and you're going to do that on both sides. You're going to go all the way around and go right through that whirligig if you can. Pull half of that hair up, and half the hair is going to be down, and you're going to go right through that whirligig if that's possible. All right, so one of the rules of clippering is that you're going to hold it close to the head with your guard on. I don't have a guard on, but the higher number the guard, the longer the hair. So a 3 is going to be longer than a 1. A 0 is a blade like this, okay? So you're going to start with a 2 or a 3, depending on what he's used to. He probably knows, and you're going to put the blade on and cut the hair. You start at the bottom in the back and work your way up and mow in straight lines, keeping your clipper as close to the head as you can. Where the hair might grow a different direction, you're going to go opposite that direction. This last inch or so, you're going to get up here and you're going to stop and just kind of do a flick. You're going to go up and flick and up and flick. And if you can imagine, what that's doing is keeping this hair longer right around here, which gives you something to kind of blend it in with, okay? So you're just going to flick, flick, flick right at the very top, okay, where that is. So let's say I have nice and clipped sides and back. And I'm going to put, just hold that right there. And I am going to now work the top of the hair. So this has all been cleaned up. You have nice clipper hair. I'm just going to pretend that it's been clippered off. And you have this stuff on top. Now this you're going to want to wet. And you're going to want to wet it with your bibipsh. A bibipsh is what Nathan called a water bottle when he was little. And one time he was so sad. A bibips, a bibips, a bibips, because the water went bish, 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 like that. So we're going to use a bibipsh, okay? And you're going to wet this hair. And you've got this swath here and this swath here, all right? You're going to end up taking this front section right there. You can kind of, usually when it's wet, it just kind of falls that way. And you're going to hold this up and hold it straight up where you want to cut it. And instead of going just horizontally this way, parallel to the floor, chomp, 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 I prefer it if you would just tip at the very edge of your fingers, however long you want that hair to be, and just tip it. That gives you a softer edge. It's more forgiving, and you're just going to tip, 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 tip this all the way across. Then your next section you're going to take, and you have that, the length that you want it. You're going to take another section, attach it to part of the hair of the section that you've used before. And this way, let's see, I have to go this direction. Okay, so this direction, I am going to hold the hair here straight, and the hair that's in the front is going to be more at a diagonal. So this hair from the back of the part in the back of the head, you want that hair to be straightest up, okay? So you're going to marry those two together, and you're going to end up attaching those two pieces right there. Same thing on the way back. Take another section. You're going to marry them together. Combing back, take some of this. You're going to marry those two pieces together, match them up, pulling them back to this so that this is flat, this is straight up, and this is pulled diagonally. Okay, so you're going to go all the way back. Once that's done, you're going to cross check. And all that means is taking 3 or 4 sections here. You're going to hold this direction, hold it up, and just make sure there's no glaring bits that need to be cut. Hold that sideways, and oops, I actually need some haircut right there. That's a little long, okay? So you're going to do that for that section. Take half of that middle bit, marry it to this guy, and just make sure that there's nothing that you really missed that's a big burp, burp, beep, burp, beep, burp, that way, okay? So that's going to give him a little bit longer hair on the top. If you have, so now you're going to part this hair, and this hair is going to be that short bit that you've done, and this is the longer stuff. You might end up having to take your shears and cut right there. Those little hairs, they're a little bit longer. You might have to cut those off like that, okay? This is going to be nice and short, and this is going to be a little bit longer, and you just might have to go in there and clean up that line that you flecked, okay, with your clippers. If you don't have clippers, sorry for you. Maybe you can still get some online. I'm going to teach you how to do it, though, with something called scissors over comb. This is your comb. and these are your scissors, and you're gonna cut on top of this. You're gonna hold the shears starting in the back of his head, and you're gonna hold it at the very bottom, and then pull this out to a 45-degree angle, like that. You're gonna start in the back. Let's pretend this is the back of my hair, because I'm gonna actually do it on the sides too. I'm gonna hold this and just go straight across, and let that go. Half inch, whatever he needs. Marry that, further up. Go even higher, further up. So you're gonna start in the middle, back here, cut, move it up a little bit, cut, and you're just gonna mow a spot all the way up the center back. You're gonna mow a spot by just pulling the hair out with the comb and cutting on top of it. When you're gonna do the sides, hold your comb this direction and go in toward the crown of the head. So you're gonna go up this direction, and on this side, you're gonna start this way with this line, and you're gonna go up that direction. And you're gonna do scissors over comb this way. All right, do the same thing on the sides, hold it out. You can do it a couple of chunks, okay? And then do the same thing, the same procedure on the top. You should be okay with that. Once it's all kind of dried, and you kind of do a little bit of this, and you kind of say, okay, honey, how is that? And you might need to take this front section, pull it forward, and soften it out, okay? That might be a little too thick. And just go in there 2 inches and just cut, like that, and cut softness into that. And you can do that 2 or 3 times back. Take this chunk right here, even if it's short, take that chunk right there, hold it out, and just cut into that and soften that so it's not thick. This is especially for the guys who have very dense hair. So cut this and soften those long pieces out there on the front. I hope this helps. I hope it makes life easier and better for you. I do hope that you have fun doing this. It's going to be better than nothing. I look forward to my new tripod and my halo light coming, and I love all y'all, and I wish you well. Bye-bye.